Hello there. I'm not. What? Obi-Wan Kenobi, I am not. Hello, and welcome to part 3 of the Trust Cal, where we crochet a shallow crescent shawl together. In parts 1 and 2, we kind of walk through how to crochet the center panel and then how to crochet the right wing of the shawl. Right wing when you're wearing it, that is. So in this part, we will work on the remaining wing and we will block it. I did have plans for a border, but yarn restrictions, which will be revealed a little bit later on, time-wise anyway. So what's my progress been on this? Well, my progress has been the same as yours. Here we go. I've completed my center panel and I've done my right wing. Can I tell you, I just love this color, and admittedly, while I was working on this part of the shawl, I did kind of just want to make it into a cowl, just by sewing this like that. I think that would look super cute. What do you guys think? Does somebody just want to call it quits right now and make a cowl? I think that would look great. Anyway, we were talking about progress. Well, like I said, it's been the same as yours, and I know that because you guys have been marvelous and kind enough to send me pictures if you use Instagram, and also to let me know your progress here in the comment section on YouTube. If you would like to send me pictures so that when we finish this cowl, I can put it all together and share them in the podcast, then feel free to send me an email. And I don't put an email in the description box below because as it is, I get so much spam, imagine without sharing my email. Anyway, if you go to my website and you go to the contact section, you can just send me a little email and I'll reply to you, and that way you have my email for any further inquiries that you have, or if you just want to share something and do not use any other form of social media. Of course, you can also find me on Ravelry, and if you use Ravelry, once we complete this cowl and I've written up the pattern, the project page will be open in Ravelry so that you can share your finished item there as well. Now, you can see where I'm at. I probably should be further along, given that I'm supposed to be sharing with you or showing you how to work up this cowl, and then, you know, we write up the pattern together, but I was working very diligently on this once I finished my second version of the low tide sweater, which is now called Marejada, to avoid any conflicts with other patterns being published at the same time. And I came home, 20 stitches left, and I'm like, oh, 20 stitches left on this right wing. That's the stitch marker here. That's 20 stitches left on that wing, and I'm like, oh, I should probably weigh my yarn. And I did! And I only had 60 grams left, and if I had done the decreases as I stated to do them in the second part of the video, which was decrease every other row, I would have had 40 rows, and I didn't want to play yarn chicken. So I decided that for those last 20 stitches, I would decrease every row. Fear not, I will include that in this video as well. This is the last video for the Trust Cal, so it will, I have to finish it. I have to finish it soon, yes. So anyway, I'm going to be sharing that with you as well. But before we move along, I wanted to share how this kind of compares to the mock-up. Now, you guys know that what started this cowl was that I was working on a cotton version of this shawl, and you can see it's very similar in terms of width and shape. I think this yarn was thinner, so it's actually a bit looser in the center panel, but we are also going to be blocking this piece, which I'll share in the video, like I said. But you can see the way it just has a slant to it. It's not really a curve, right? So because I decided to decrease every row in those last 20 stitches, there's a little bit, sorry, there's a little bit more of a curve curve right now, which I think looks really nice. So just a tip, if you want to rip back those last 20 stitches and decrease every row for 20 rows instead of 40, that also works. So that is the only change I was forced to make due to yarn management. But now I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to start your other wing. So we've got our center panel, we've got our yarn, and we've got our 3.5mm crochet hook, right? So as you can see, I've already started my other wing. So this is our right wing. This will be our left wing. Now I wanted to keep the instructions the same, meaning that you would just work double crochets in row 1, then decrease right at the bottom here in row 2, work your way up, and then come back down and decrease in the next one. So I wanted to keep this the same. In order to do that, we are actually going to attach our yarn on the wrong side of our shawl. Okay, you can see this is the tail where I attached. Other than that, we are keeping everything else the same. So once you attach, you work your double crochet stitches until you reach the end of row 1, and then at the start of row 2 you decrease, work your way up. Row 3, no decreases, and row 4, which is the row where I'm at right now, we decreased at the bottom and we completed it up here. So that means that row 5 is going to be this is row 4. Row 4 would be on my right side. So now row 5 would be my wrong side. And I'm just going to attach my different color yarn. Okay. And I'm gonna 1, 2, 3. Turn my work. And I'm just going to catch my tail. This is row 5, which means it's a no decrease row. Let me zoom you in. Okay, and you know we are just going to be working double crochets until we complete this row. And here we are ending row 5 and chain 3 and turn. Row 6 is a repeat of row 2, which is our decrease row, and you guys know that I pick up the front loop and then the back loop of the following, yarn over, pull through those loops, and then I've got 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we're just going to do double crochets as per usual. So we are going to keep repeating the decreasing every other row until we have 20 stitches. When we have 20 stitches, we are going to work our way down and decrease, but I will be back to share that with you. And just remember, we are only decreasing on, Just remember, we are only decreasing on the bottom part of the shawl. The top part of the shawl stays the same. And then when we block this piece, we're just gonna stretch this out, right? And we are back. We are ready to continue with our decreases. You should be somewhere along row 62 with 20 stitches left. If it's before row 62, say row 52, it would also work perfectly well. And if you have less stitches than 20, also fine. I know I made some rookie mistakes here, and I noticed while I was finishing my shawl that in 2 rows I had actually skipped my chain 3. It's fine. You know, I know some people don't like to hear this, like when you're crocheting, they just, no, it's not fine, go back, rip it, frog it. You can certainly do that, but I'm here to tell you, do not stress about it. You will still have a beautiful, beautiful shawl. So whether you're at row 52 or row 62, whether you have more or less stitches left, because let's say you were running out of yarn, so you decided, no, I need to start decreasing every row now, also perfectly acceptable. Let's get on with it. Okay, so as I said, we are nearing the end. I have this little measly bit left. It's about 30 grams. So yeah, right. So I am getting ready to start row 52. And row 52, because it's repeat of row 2, is a decrease row. So we're just going to treat that one as we would normally, just by continuing with our decreases. And then we're just going to make double crochets until we complete this row. So now it is row 63 and we are going to work double crochets until we are 3 stitches away from the end of the row. Now I know in the previous video I said it was row 52. I meant 62. I do apologize. I think I had the 50s in the brain because of what I was saying, that it really doesn't matter if you're row 52 or row 62. Okay, so I'll meet you back here for this decrease. And now there's 3 stitches left. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to do a decrease in the next 2 stitches, just like we've been doing, and then I'm going to do a double crochet on top of the double crochet. Chain 3, turn, and this is going to be row 50. 64. Yeah, so another decrease row. Remember, we're just going to and see that? This is the decrease side. Anyway, we're going to do a decrease. So, and that is how we are going to be working our decreases in every row until we have 3 stitches left. I will do that with you as well. So I just wanted to remind you that we are decreasing on the same side. So when we're coming down, we're going to stop and do a decrease and then a double crochet in the chain 3, and we can just let our slant guide us, right? So just this decrease and then normal double crochet, chain 3, turn. So now the slant is on my right side, but it's decrease again, just in those 3. Okay, just remember you are now decreasing every row, but the placement of the decreases has not changed. And of course you could always use a handy dandy stitch marker on this side. A handy dandy stitch marker to mark your decrease side. I have a stitch marker, it's just all the way down here. So I'm gonna move it up, move it here, and there we go. So while we finish the shawl, let's talk blocking techniques. So if you're a seasoned crocheter, you may or may not have heard of blocking. I'm not going to say you've probably done it because I didn't really like blocking my pieces, to be honest, just because of that extra hassle. I want to finish it, I want to wear it. But I will say blocking does finish your project off nicely. If you're just working with acrylic yarns, then there's no easier blocking than just sticking it in the washing machine and then sticking it in the dryer. However, as this project does have lacy bits, it is probably better to stick it in the washing machine, and then when you take it out, pin it on some blocking mats. I, however, am working with hand-dyed wool and would not like doing that. No, I would very much, sorry, teasing my yarn apart because it's got some floof here. I would very much just like to either steam block this piece, or also an option is to wet block it. Now, of course, when you wet block it, the wool does, you know, get very, very heavy and it'll weigh down your piece and stretch it out more. Steam blocking it is a lot more gentle, and honestly it's one of my preferred methods of blocking. I don't have a special blocking, a special steamer. I just use my iron on the steam setting. But of course, if you've got a special steamer, then use that. In terms of what you do when you steam, well, you obviously steam close to your piece and then you will pin it. Make sure it's damp but not overly wet and pin that. So now I'm just going to finish this piece, and I think for purposes of shortness of video and to ensure you guys, you know, get this in a timely manner, I will probably choose to steam block this piece. It'll just be damp, so it'll dry a lot faster. Okay, and we are down to the last little bit of crochet for the shawl. So I've chained 3, now I'm going to do a decrease. And I'm going to do a final double crochet on the top of that chain 3, which means we have 3 stitches left. So I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and do 3 double crochet together. It's 2, and go through that, and that is the end of the shawl. Now I need some scissors, which I can never find when I need them, to be perfectly honest. So I'm going to grab a pair of scissors. I'm going to cut this, fasten off, and then we will steam together. So my iron stopped steaming. Sometimes it does that. So I'm just going to continue with some water inside a spray bottle and my shawl. And it is the day after the blocking. We have a finished shawl. Thank you so much for joining me in this endeavor, and please let me know your thoughts in the comments section, and do tag me on Instagram or send me an email of your finished item. I had a lot of fun trying to create a very simple, easy shawl for you guys, and yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you later.